Hi, my name is Dr. Kimberlee Woods. I'm with the School of Mystical Arts. And today I'm going to talk to you about one of the ways that you can use to ensure that you are working with and speaking to and interacting with the beings that you desire. So sometimes people think that they're working with an angel, but it's really a dark entity in disguise as an angel. So there is a way that you can ensure that who you're calling for, who you're asking for, who you're wanting to work with is really the being. And you want to ensure that you're working with the highest version of that being, because there's a low vibrational version and there's a high vibrational version of all beings. So one of the ways that you can do that is to go into your sanctuary. Now, a lot of people don't even know they have a sanctuary. We all have one. It is like our safe and secure space. Nothing can enter it unless we invite it in. And there's a way I'm going to show you to invite it in. I teach all about this in a class called Sanctuary Meditation. Sometimes I call it Meet Your Higher Wisdom. So if you've never met your higher wisdom, don't know about your higher wisdom, that's a great introductory class to take. So that you can start to become familiar with your higher wisdom, because your higher wisdom is the all-knowing highest version of you that you want to be working with every single day. All right, so I'm going to take you pretty quickly through getting in your sanctuary. A lot of people operate in their sanctuary, don't even know how or how it happened, how they got there. I'm just going to use some sacred geometry to get you there. And I'm leaving out chunks that I would normally teach in the Sanctuary Meditation class. So we're just going to move through this fairly quickly. When we go there, I'm going to have you bring in your higher wisdom into your sanctuary. And your higher wisdom is going to be the one that goes and gets the being. So, for example, we go into your sanctuary, this protected, secure space that is yours and yours alone. Your higher wisdom, which is your most trusted source, is going to be the one that goes outside your sanctuary and calls forth. Let's say you want to work with Archangel Michael. It's actually the house of Archangel Michael. There are a lot that represent Archangel Michael. So let's say Archangel Michael then comes, but it's your higher wisdom, and you're tasking your higher wisdom to go bring forth the highest version of Archangel Michael into your safe, sacred sanctuary, where you're going to then do work with Archangel Michael or ask questions or whatever it is that you want to do with him. Okay? So what you're going to do is you can close your eyes and you can just imagine right now. You're going to imagine there's a pyramid that's hovering above your head, and you can look up. Not everybody's able to really see in their mind. You can feel it. It's starting to come down over you. You can feel its side. You can smell it. You can sense it. You can taste it. You can feel what it's like to be inside this pyramid. And the bottom of the floor of the pyramid opens up and you lower down into a cube that's underneath the pyramid. And you can feel it. You can feel the four sides of the cube. You can taste it. You can smell it. And the bottom of that floor opens up and you lower down into a sphere. So it's the pyramid and then the cube and then the sphere. And you're now in the sphere, and the cube and the pyramid are above you. And as you look up through the cube and through the pyramid, you notice the pyramid opens up, and it, like a flower, it starts to open up, and you're going to shoot straight up through this Merkaba up into, really, it's a seventh dimension, and you're going to land either right outside your sanctuary or in your sanctuary. Okay, now I'm going to say, feel what it's like. And for some people, like if they've never been there before, they might just see light or clouds or feel that. But you are now in your sanctuary. If there's a doorway, walk through it to your sanctuary. I have a little foyer that I walk through, then I go into my sanctuary. So you're going to go into your sanctuary alone. Nothing's coming with you. not bring anything with you. Okay, and it could be anything. Like mine has a pond and a Japanese kind of pagoda, and um, there's an alchemy lab and a dojo, and there's tables and trees. There's a whole forest. I meet with. I mean, I've had a lot of time to develop my sanctuary. Okay, so if you don't see anything, it's fine. Just know that you're there, and this is going to be the place that we work. And then just ask that it come to you and develop over time. For some people, it's a big tree. They go inside a tree. I mean, it doesn't matter. Some it's just in the clouds. For some, it's a crystalline room. It could be anything. So just know that you're in your sanctuary. And what you're going to do is you are going to ask that there's more to this, by the way, but you're going to ask that your higher wisdom come to you. And one of the ways you're going to do that is you're going to look for an object around that represents your higher wisdom. And it could be, a little dragon. It could be a stone. It could be a symbol. It could be a card. It could be anything. It could be a leaf. And you're going to take that object and you're going to attach it to a key. And that's now going to be the key that opens the door and lets your higher wisdom in. So once you have your key, the object that you attach to a key, look for any door. The door could be any shape. It could be like a hobbit door that's more rounded. It could be a tree. It could be anything. Find your door. Feel for it if you can't see anything. Just say, take me to the door. I'm going to go to the door. Trust that the door is there. Put the key in, open the door, and allow in your higher wisdom. So this is the key for your higher wisdom. You're allowing in your higher wisdom. Your higher wisdom comes in and you close the door. Now in the class that I teach, we spend time where you really get to experience and know your higher wisdom and what he feels like. My higher wisdom is very masculine and feminine. They're like hermaphroditic. There's not male or female. So don't assume that it has to be female. It has to be male. In all these lifetimes, we've been both. We are this accumulation of both. So your higher wisdom is now in, right? And so what you're going to do is you're going to ask your higher wisdom to go and bring a being into your sacred space. So we're just going to take a few minutes here and just feel your higher wisdom, sense what it feels like. Because this is we call it an energy signature. This is an energy signature, and it's your energy signature, and you want to know it because you want to know if something is off. Your higher wisdom, like my higher wisdom, gives me this really creepy face saying something's off. Kimberlee, something's off. It's like, oh, and then I was like, oh, there it is. That's what's off, right? So it gives me this face, like contorted, something's off. So get to know this energy signature. Get to know what it feels like. Okay, so we're going to take a minute and have you do that. And just feel what your higher wisdom feels like. Okay? I'm going to describe to you a little bit about what I see or notice. My higher wisdom's kind of in a flowing gown, shorter curly hair, pretty much a badass. A lot of accumulated wisdom. Warm but firm. All right, and I'm going to ask that my higher wisdom leave my sanctuary and bring back the highest version of Archangel Michael. Thank you. Now, my higher wisdom is outside my sanctuary. I personally have like a doorway, and that doorway has a film. And that film is like another filter to filter out any unwanted energies, low vibrational energies, anything that's tried to attach, anything that's trying to slip in. It's just a filter that filters out anything so that all that's coming through into my sanctuary is my higher wisdom and the highest version of Archangel Michael. And now, when you're working with a light being, so this is one of the ways that you can ensure that you're working with the right light being, not an imposter, not something that looks like or acts like. Your higher wisdom needs to bring in the highest vibrational form of that being into a safe, sacred place. A safe, sacred place doesn't have to be your sanctuary. You could create a sacred circle, some call it magic circle. You could create, I use sacred geometries to create sacred spaces, fields, sacred high vibrational fields. So it doesn't have to be your sanctuary. You can call them in to this safe space. And it's important, though, that you have your higher wisdom do this. Because if you're saying, Archangel Michael, and then some being comes up and says, yeah, I'm Archangel Michael. I am. Really? What do you want to know? We aren't always sophisticated enough to be able to tell the difference. Now, I don't mean to demean anyone who's very sophisticated, because there are people who are very, very sophisticated in knowing energy signatures. But this is meant to be helpful for people who are sometimes struggling with, I thought I was working with, but it ended up being this. And I've had that happen to many friends where they thought they were working with one being or one kind of energy or entity, and it wasn't that. So in calling forth now, when you're working with these light beings, whatever you call an ascended master, an angel, an archangel, some kind of, maybe it's a galactic being. Not all galactic beings are friendly. They're not always for, if you're going to call in a galactic being, ask that they be only for your highest and best interest, with no nefarious agenda, right? Pretty safe if you're working with not all Arcturians, but if you're working through the Arcturian commander, it's pretty safe. Palladians, if you're saying that you want high vibrational Palladians, you're doing pretty well. You're doing pretty well. But a lot of other galactic beings, they have other agendas. So, but when you're working with them, you want to make sure you understand that you're equals. Not, oh, please, Archangel Michael, you do that. No, you are collaborators, you are co-creators, you are peers, and you are equals. It doesn't mean, they say that we are over the angels, and some people start bossing them around, and certainly we are capable of making angels and demons do our bidding. But that's a world that if you get into, certainly if you're working with the darker energy or dark forces, there is a price to pay. But if you're working with them and you start like pushing them around, then you're showing a lack of respect. It's like, would you do that with your peer? Would you start pushing them around? If so, maybe there's some inner work that needs to happen. Okay, so we're working with them in a co-creative, collaborative manner. And so you're talking with them in terms of work you're trying to do, what you're trying to figure out, information you're trying to gather, where to go. It's not always just going and saying, please protect me. Because that's saying you don't have the ability to protect yourself. Right? Please give me discernment. Help me with my discernment. Help me to understand what is happening. Help me to develop the tools that I need, because you're God, right? You don't need somebody else to protect you. You are God. You may need to know more tools or gather more tools, but you are not helpless, and they're above you, and you are pleading for them to do something for you. Maybe it's just that you need to develop the tools that so that you can begin to do that and stand firmly in your godhood. All right. So I hope that was helpful today in terms of how to work with and call in light beings. I hope you have a great day. My name is Dr. Kimberlee Woods with the School of Mystical Arts.